Another one on solid waste management, this time looking at the idea of taking students to the landfill, the role of universities in disseminating knowledge about waste management. In classroom, you can show images, you can show data, you can show the impacts of methane from the landfill impact on soil and water and air and so on. But does it work better if you just make a field trip to the landfill, if you have one nice nasty one nearby? So this is what this paper is about. The paper reports the results of 3 years of work at the University of Florence dedicated to waste management and other sustainability related activities. The rationale that guided this effort was to use the prestige of the university to disseminate knowledge about the good practices of waste management with the local society. So you have to practice and then preach and then hopefully get them to adopt your successful methods. The results presented here are still preliminary, but we believe that they are promising and worth further exploration. Jumping to the assessment and conclusions, waste management is a complex and variegated issue. Most people who are not scientists simply take information from the mainstream media, and normally in the form of snippets, sound bites, drowned in the general noise of the news. In the case of waste management, the problem is complicated by commercial interests of people involved in one or another treatment method. That's very critical to see how lobbies and economic interests can actually keep sometimes bad practices going on, because you can ignore the externalities of waste management in terms of their negative impact on soil, water, health, air, and so on. And of course they are aesthetically very unpleasing as well. On the other hand, politically motivated people often try to get traction from demonizing this or that aspect of waste management. So can you make waste management sexy? What's clear in any case is that much of what is being said and done in this field is insufficient to deal with the waste created so far by humanity, and which will be continue to be created in the future. I have a little frog in my throat. In addition to the household waste, often perceived as the most important problem, other giant masses of waste are being produced. For instance, cement is being produced at the astonishing rate of more than 4 billion tons per year, and cement is a very high impact greenhouse gas producer, especially the traditional methods, the Portland cement. There are many efforts to produce green cement, reduce emissions, but there isn't really anything that is scalably impactful enough to reduce the emissions significantly from cement production. And many of the buildings that are built, surprisingly, are built for few decades. Many buildings get taken down, and all that debris, when you take a building down, you produce plenty of pollution, particulate matter, and disposing off of that debris is not a simple task either, right? That's waste management as well. For instance, cement is being produced at the astonishing rate of more than 4 billion tons per year. This number is from 2018, so obviously it'll be already higher because India and China are going on a construction boom associated with their economic development and further ambitions. Well, it's true that during the past few years, the overall masses already produced, While it is true that during the past few years the overall waste production has not been increasing, but this is from 2014, dealing with the giant masses already produced as well as with the current production is fast becoming an intractable problem. I didn't emphasize that properly. Let me read it again. While it is true that during the past few years the overall waste production has not been increasing, dealing with the giant masses already produced as well as with the current production is becoming an intractable problem. There is a nice infographic by Visual Capitalist which puts together the numbers on all the masses produced by humanity, which is really, really huge. But in this context of waste management and landfills, we are constantly generating, even if we have plateaued on waste production, which may not be true because pandemic came and all the restrictions on going out, quarantining, working from home, etc., led to lots of delivery businesses' reliance on delivery of everything, including food, and that usually comes with lots of packaging material and hence waste. So that has to be followed up as well. So hopefully we are heading towards peak waste production, but still we have a long way to go in terms of just dealing with it in a safe and least production of waste, as well as safe handling of the waste and recycling. So it's too early to call it a circular economy, but still, someday we'll go to a mode where we will not only decarbonize but will produce everything that actually can be fully recycled. Well, let's hope. In the end, waste management is mostly a problem of communication, and communication is a problem of trust. These notes are the preliminary report of how the University of Florence, acting in the direction of building trust to improve communication with citizens in the field of management. How the university is acting, the verb missing there. As mentioned earlier on, the strategy of this action has been to build or rebuild trust between citizens and institutions. This trust is often lost in the noise, and sometimes misinformation is spread by economic interests or political interests of the media that is reporting these news items, which may be just noise. So far, we haven't been able to perform quantitative measurements of the effects of these activities on the public perception on the issue of waste management, nor on the habits of the public in dealing with the household waste. Nevertheless, we used informal polls with the people involved with these activities, and we can report that the response has been extremely positive, in some cases enthusiastic. So this is about taking students to the landfill, even though the text itself didn't refer much to that. But environmental perceptions do change when people actually see things firsthand. Eyewitness accounts tend to make you more aware than just looking at videos and images. Alright, so let's hope that effort continues and produces more quantifiable results on how field visits to landfills can become part of the overall education of waste management as well. Okay, let's see how we do in the next podcast in terms of spreading the message of sustainability on campus. Notice that in terms of case studies, we have gone further in terms of doing things on campus for sustainability, but also worrying about sending out students with training and behavioral change that they can carry to the outside world to amplify change. Okay.